We're all depressed.
I'm going to tell you how my day started. I went through my little Google Doc of anime recommendations, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to start my little bizarre adventure, and I'm going to start
That
watching
made my
JoJo's
fucking day. That's
finally.
the only good thing that happened today.
I
It's like, yo, I'm watching JoJo. I was like,
I previously, with Masao and a former admin of the Ruby group that I used to be a part of, watched up until I want to say episode 4.
Yeah, we were like 3 or 4 episodes in.
It was right after. It was
so
right when
pissed that we stopped because I know where's this getting started?
Because it's right when they meet. It's right after Abdul has a fight with Palmerev, which I believe is like episode 3, because they did a recap episode at like episode 3 and then did episode 4. But regardless, so my morning started off with me watching up to like episode 11.
So you had a bizarre morning, huh?
I had a morning that was filled with some of the dumbest horse shit I have seen in my entire life.
You were on a bizarre adventure this morning. Don't question it.
Ending with old man Joestar having an entire episode where he had a fist fight with a cancer growth on his arm in the form of a stand. And then this.
Oh my god.
There is a lot to say about, well, the series as a whole, but even this alone.
I could not have had a bigger whoop to whoa if I tried.
I kind of have an idea where you were on JoJo. That's why I don't want to spoil it too much.
It's literally after Palmerev had the moment where he thought he was going to get lucky with the chick that Whole Horse was with, and then they take care of her, and then they leave, and the car's following them. That's right where I am.
Okay.
Regardless to say, I had a morning that was filled with whimsical stupidity for a good 4 hours.
You were on a bizarre adventure
and
this morning.
Then
you were having a bizarre adventure.
I had to go through
whatever the fuck you want to call this, because holy fuck, man.
The hardest 2 hours and some odd minutes that I've literally had in my entire life. The amount of crying that I have every time Keaton and Kamina die, I had that for 2 fucking hours. There is maybe a half an hour of this entire movie where I wasn't at some level tearing up. I've never had that for a movie in my life. And you bastards at Netflix had the gall to start this off.
Oh my god.
With the grandchild of the character from the episode that almost literally fucking killed me.
My response to all that was like, yo, this movie can kindly fuck off. Because how dare you? I was like, this is how we're gonna fucking go. This is how it's gonna be, huh?
This is how it's gonna be.
I'm like, that house looks so familiar. And that girl looks so familiar. And then they start talking about how their grandma passed away. And that, her mother died at a young age. And I'm like, don't you fucking dare, Netflix. Don't you dare. And then I saw that box on the shelf. That's letters. I swear on God. And then they did it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this movie can fuck off now.
And then what they do, just to twist the knife even further, they replay the montage.
Yes! I was like, nice. This is a total fucking movie. Thanks.
You can't have me having heart palpitations in the first 10 minutes of a movie that's going to make me cry for 2 hours!
God, I felt like I was playing like the first 10 minutes of The Last of Us. Like 10 minutes in, I'm fucking sobbing in that game.
Yes!
I was like, yo, can we not? But,
So this makes the first 10 minutes of Up look like Teletubbies.
Yeah!
Okay, but like, I only cried once throughout this movie.
What's that?
I only cried once. I didn't cry like first 10 minutes in. I wasn't crying.
We'll get to that.
I'm just gonna guess that I'm not gonna say what the scene is because we're gonna.
I think no one cried that scene. You're fucking heartless. I'm sorry.
It starts with a knock on a door and it ends with a kid dying. And then probably the most well-timed joke the show has ever had that I needed so badly, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through it bullet point by bullet point like we usually do because it is something I need to stop, but there is like 3 or 4 moments that are in here that we're going to talk over. But outside of giant bullet points, I'm going to go person by person. Favorite moment or scenes that are not the big ones, because we'll get there. Mike first.
Well, first, I want to give a shout out to the composer, Evan Call, who I don't think we ever really mentioned by name, but he has done the music for the series, the OVA, and the first movie, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, the music is really good.
Mm-hmm. And this movie has like all original music. They have like some variations of certain character themes, but as far as I know, this is all original to the film, and it's just gorgeous. I also like how at first we don't actually get to hear the hymn that Violet wrote in the beginning, but it comes up later when we see Gilbert on the island. Oh, by the way, not to bury the lead or anything, but we should probably talk about that.
Every time they sued, I was in the tower like, I think it's this. I was like, is it?
My roommate's got some pretty good soundproof headphones, and he's a pretty loud person himself on top of me being a loud person, so it is a good thing that he's in his room playing whatever, because he probably would have been concerned for me for the last 2.5 hours. But before we get into group discussions, Miss, go ahead.
All right, Miss Howe, go ahead. Then I have to say,
go ahead.
Like real favorite part, or
like just little moments you like outside of the big ones, because we're just gonna go through those in order.
Like I kind of like in the a little bit after the 10 minutes of sadness, you kind of see like everyone like grown up type of ordeal.
Yeah.
And like where they are. I thought that was nice. And then obviously the ending where Violet and Gilbert get together. Also, I want an apology because that man finally got fucking redemption, the brother.
We'll get to that.
We'll trust
That's
me.
all I gotta say before we
I
jump
will give
into
a I will give a formal apology when that time comes.
That was like the whole like that, and like when the brother and Violet were like on the boat, like interact, like trying to help each other, like heal.
That was nice.
That was very nice.
Honestly, little the small scenes like that I thought were handled really well. I even like the interactions that Hodgins and Benedict have.
Yeah.
This is like the scene of them playing tennis together is
that was hilarious.
Just so great.
That was great. The thing, and it might be the best strength, the outside of obviously Violet, that might be the biggest strength of this entire series is that they never forget that a character exists.
Yeah, that's why I like when they brought them up. Like A's dubbed somehow they're doing.
Yeah, and it's like, do you remember that time when Violet helped Blake and Blake, and then they show him actually married and going on, and like again, rip my heart out when they show Anne's granddaughter. Like all of this, like it being only 12 episodes so that you can remember all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
helps a lot.
Can we take a moment to appreciate two things? One, the animation. Like the the moment when they show fucking water is gorgeous. Like, yo, why are you making the water fucking gorgeous?
The last 10 minutes of this film, everyone just give up on ever trying to animate water. Because you're not.
Exactly. I was like, holy shit. It's water.
That was real. That was actual fucking water they were standing in at the end.
Yeah. Another thing I want to highly appreciate is the fucking heels that Benedict is wearing. Okay? I don't know why they have to show that he's wearing heels, but the fact that he's wearing heels is God bless this man for running in fucking heels, because bitch, I can't fucking do it.
Before we recorded this episode, I went back and rewatched the entire series. And
because this man is brave.
I think there was one episode where Benedict kind of like he sprained his ankle or something, so he couldn't deliver the letters. And the first thing that came to my mind is, well, no wonder he's wearing fucking heels.
He's wearing fucking heels. But listen, he's making them high heels.
Oh yeah, that's right, because Violet had to go deliver letters with Roland.
Yeah, and Cataleya's like, honestly, why do you wear those shoes?
Also, I love that Cataleya at the start of this, it's like, hey guys, Cataleya's got less screen time, so I don't know if we should make her cleavage 4 times bigger in this movie.
It's not big.
I think it didn't go a little bit.
We gotta sprinkle that fan service.
Because it's like, they take away the absolute territory that they had down here by giving her a long jacket and then just massive tracts of land.
They tried to compensate for the emotional damage by giving us a little bit of fan service, okay?
A little?
Okay. They're trying to compensate with the fucking damage that they did, okay?
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So, all right, I'm going to try my best. Oh, I'm going to try my best. Oh, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now on the hour of our death. Amen. Woo! Okay, so
I'm trying to distract you to be happy.
I am happy, and I'm wearing a Skillet shirt because it's one of my favorite t-shirts.
I think I might have that same one.
Man of culture.
Of everyone that makes band t-shirts, this is simple. You don't need to be overcomplicated. Because a lot of people that I see make band shirts, you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going to start with my legitimate and only complaint about the entire series now, because the other one got fixed. In the last movie, they say that Taylor worked for that service.
I know where you're going with this.
Until she was old enough, and then she started on her own. Where the hell was Taylor?
That's right.
Never shows up once. Literally never shows up once. Isn't even mentioned by name. Almost thought Taylor was that random redhead running around, but that ended up not being her. Ended up being his friend.
I thought Taylor was the one that she ended up running the playwright.
No, that's Erica. That's Erica, the one that's voiced by Madoka and Mako's voice actor. She's been in there working with Iris the whole time. No, that was Erica. Right. Yeah, Taylor's never mentioned. She doesn't even show up. Legit only complaint. But anyway, so yeah, we mentioned Erica. She gets that cool moment where she wanted to help write plays, and they kind of, I want to say it's in the last movie they brought that up.
That was from episode 7.
But didn't they bring that up when they were watching the play itself?
I think so. I didn't get a chance to rewatch the first movie, so
because they bring up that movie also.
I think she did. I think she wanted to.
But
I'm gonna break down. It feels like it's so long, but it hasn't been long.
Yeah, and we get that, and like the first holy shit moment, and they're not subtle about it, is we'll talk about, did you expect it to be as an obvious of reveal when like they just show up and they're on the island and that kid's like, hey, can you write me a letter? And Gilbert's just standing there.
I feel like the first time like they kind of teased it, I was like, it's obviously him.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect that was going to be how they found out it was him.
Oh, from the letter that they
Yeah, like felt like they recognized the handwriting.
Yeah. That was such a chance thing that he was like, oh wait, he was my major, so I recognize his handwriting.
Yeah.
Really wasn't expecting that.
Okay, so remember when I said I accidentally spoiled myself like weeks ago?
Yeah.
Or at this point, probably a month ago.
Before watching the movie.
Yeah. This was the spoiler.
Was that he writes the letter, or that he was alive?
That he's alive.
Oh, okay. Did you like see a scene, or like?
No, I literally just saw the cast list for the movie.
Oh no!
So that like, oh my god.
Oh, IMDb killed it for you. Oh no. That sucks. Did it say like present Gilbert or like
it didn't specify because you know how he's been in like flashbacks and
so you probably just thought like it was a flashback maybe, or you just knew like the voice was going to be in the movie.
Yeah, I knew he was involved, but then I saw like a sentence or two on Wikipedia. I'm like, I should let them know that I got spoiled, but I shouldn't tell them what the spoiler is.
Yeah, you're at the same thing as me, where I all of a sudden go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole and went, shit, I shouldn't have done that. But then it's like, I don't let it ruin me.
You told me not to do that, and I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I will spoil myself.
And it's like
very easily.
Yes. And I'll write for like, it's things that I get super excited for that end up spoiling myself. Like I almost got spoiled, but a person lied to me about stuff with Horizon. But anyway, we're gotten to the point in the series now where Violet is so famous that she's known nationwide, and that they have to wait they're okay with waiting 3 months to get her to write a letter.
Yes.
That's crazy how much growth she's gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Precious baby.
And again, like, to even reach that island that there's a famous doll named Violet is kind of nuts.
Yeah. And that's already like a small I want to say a third world nation to the point that like,
yeah,
you know, they seem pretty disconnected from the rest of the world. So
especially when there's no telephones or active telephones, like they have the SOS out there, or like Morse code, I should say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like
crazy.
They're starting to get like telephones and all that.
Yeah.
That's another thing I kind of wanted to point out, how like we're seeing the world slowly change by the time we get to this movie, which takes place 4 years after the start of the series.
Yeah, which we didn't. I don't believe we mentioned a review of the last one, but when Benedict is delivering those letters to that same old woman. When are they going to have that tower built? That thing's so irritating.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Why are they building? It's taking so long.
It is. And then like the Postal Service is like, that thing's gonna kill our services. You're aware of that, right? And they even bring that back later. My goodness. By the way, my iris looks so good. Oh! Oh! Just have to say that you look gorgeous.
Oh, probably a lesbian. You have a type and you know that's your type.
I have a type and Iris saved me.
And I'm still mad about it because I was like,
you watch this. Somehow her voice actress is a lesbian. Somehow.
I will find that to piss you off. Just to really piss you off and to really confirm he has a type.
But so we get introduced to the next, I should say, major plot character, I should say, or major letter giver that we get. For each one, we get one major letter giver. And man, short of Anne, this kid's my favorite.
Oh, Yuri or Eurus.
Eurus. And because I have an incredibly personal connection with Anne for reasons that were stated in an episode. Since we're here, is Eurus your guys' favorite?
Yeah.
Was how?
Yeah. That whole.
We're getting there.
I know, that's why I was just like.
That literally ripped my heart clean out of my chest. There are few things that chunk of this movie. There are few things I've seen that are that well written. Very few.
Something that I love about that scene is we see how far Violet has come when it, in terms of understanding people's emotions and just kind of generally interacting with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she has a very deadpan sense of humor, which Eurus definitely appreciated.
Eurus definitely appreciated. Yeah, I did. I love that she calls him out on his bullshit where he's like, this isn't what you want me to write, though. Like, be honest with me.
And then when she does the thumbs up, it reminded me of BB-8 in The Force Awakens.
It did. You were saying, Masao?
I also liked how, like, he didn't have enough money, but Violet was like, you're a child. Don't worry about it.
I have this paper that you probably don't understand.
And the kid's like, oh, I don't know what the hell that is. But sure.
But yeah, speaking on her deadpan emotions, or like deadpan sense of humor, I don't want you to be overprotective, this, and that. Okay, good. I will take those emotional responses away from my person.
It's like Violet.
It's just she's like a computer deleting files for a minute. I'm just like, you can't. That is whoever, like, if that is directly translated from that light novel, everyone take notes. This is exactly how you do a person that doesn't understand social situations and to make jokes correctly. It is so often done so cornily, but that is done perfect.
I think a lot of credit needs to go to the voice actors too.
Yes,
the voice in English for Violet is Erica Harlacher, and yeah, she does a wonderful job.
Wait, that sounds. That name.
But Erica Harlacher, she's tons of stuff. We'll look it up after, but I guarantee you she's been in like 4 to 5 things. I believe she was something in a comedy, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. He literally had just pennies.
Wait, it was Erica Harlander?
Yeah, I think it's Harlacher.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I simp for this woman.
Okay, who is it that you know?
Anne from Persona.
Oh, okay. Nice. But yeah, they get that whole deal, and like her hiding under the bed. Man, Scion, his little brother. Brother, do you want to read my storybook with me?
No.
Please don't be mean to him, please. But yeah. But yeah. So the next big scene, which we need to talk about, it wasn't quite the scene where we got the redemption. It was better. It was where the brother was at medium, like measured level with me, and I did not expect it. We got a lot of love for Diedrich in this movie.
He got the redemption that the series did not fucking give him.
Yes.
And I was like, maybe the movie will give him the redemption that he fucking needs. And I'm glad he got the redemption.
He got it in the last 10 minutes.
Well,
I feel like
that's not
like
fair.
He was trying to help Violet the best he could.
He got even with her to where they were good. I feel that he finally made up for the crap that he said after.
Yeah, like kind of like
in my opinion,
like
because he was still in my opinion
his brother, like, yo, get your shit together.
Yes,
you dumb
I
fuck.
still feel even with
because I've been dealing with your girl for like X amount of years.
Yeah,
yeah.
Where he finally went, you know what? I feel bad for her now. It wasn't that just I can be okay with her. I literally feel bad for her.
Like, I felt like that, like, throughout the movie, you do, like, see, like, he generally felt bad.
Yeah, and he was getting there by the time they get off the boat, and it's sealed in when they were on the island. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, it was finally getting to, I was like, he needs one last scene to finally knock that home, and that's when they did it. It was like in the series where they finally got to, you were at the 99, and then you went, boop! They got right back up to the 99 again, and then this time they hit it up to
I
175.
know, that's why I'm like, this man that I've been defending got redemption in the very end of this.
There's one scene we have to talk about first that kind of not it doesn't excuse his actions, it just explains it.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a-
what I was
there's
going
a-
to get to next.
There's a flashback when Gilbert and Dietfried were younger. Their dad takes them to their flower, which I'm going to assume those are violets.
They looked really red, though. That was the weird
Yeah,
thing.
no, they were red. I don't think they were violet.
I don't know what they are.
Well, whatever they
either
are.
way, either way,
The point
either
is
way.
Yeah.
the point is this is like a crucial moment for the boys because while Dietfried was being, a rebel and
Going through
And-
that rebellious phase.
Mhm.
Yep. His brother stepped in to defend him. And again, it doesn't excuse his actions, but it justifies why their relationship is so complicated.
Yeah, that was an element I was not expecting to see.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this was saved for the movie because A, you had more time to really flesh it out, and
Yeah.
B, something I wrote in my Letterboxd review was that while a lot of this movie kind of hinges on the emotional attachment you have from all the characters in the series, the film itself, even if you haven't watched the series, still kind of stands on its own to a certain extent. Because they frame the story in a way that you understand everyone's motivations like pretty perfectly. Everyone from Dietfried to the Magnolia family to Violet, you understand just from this film alone how much Gilbert means to her.
Mhm.
And you feel the impact that she's had on like so many different people.
Yeah. And like it finally starts to kick in, like when he needed to, Hay starts feeling the full extent of their talk that they had. Like, and you learn also now that the mom of the family is dead now. When he finds out that she's been the one that's been leaving flowers because that's what the major would have done. That was the final kind of kick in the nuts where he's just kind of like, fuck, I have been an asshole.
If I feel like he felt more like that reading the letter.
Yeah. And you get the cool scene on the boat and all that, and then with the flashback. And they had this was after what I was they have that last scene with him with Eurus at the hospital before she leaves for the island. That was very nice to have all that done. And you get where it starts drawing parallels with Violet in the Major with Eurus and this friend. Oh, now his name's escaping me.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't want him to see him in the condition that he's in. He'd never wanted him to come by. And then that starts hammering home with Major and Violet when that goes in. Because I was kind of like, this movie's going to end up dealing with Violet and the Major. Why the hell do they have this kid being this important? And then it's just like, I'm just not doubting the show ever because it's just stupid to do so.
Yes.
That's a thing about this show. It like even in like the episodic structure of the series, nothing ever felt wasted. Like
There
there was
ounce of fat.
there was
There
a
was
point
always
to
a
everything.
reason behind what they were sewing.
Mhm.
Exactly.
There was never an ounce of fat in the whole show. This is the most lean show I've ever seen in my
You
life.
know, and like I do like that a lot. Like whoever they put into it, it got solved and it tied it really well, and everything ended like with a nice little bow overall type of ordeal.
Yeah. And okay, so we get to, and I have to ask if you guys felt this way the same as me. Did it feel weirdly ominous at first with the music that they had playing when Benedict and his name's escaping me, the president Hodgins were going through the old lost letters factory?
I don't
The
know
music was
about
weirdly eerie.
I don't know about ominous, but there was I don't know. Maybe it was that combined with like just the lighting of that building.
Yeah.
It could be. I'm like, if something happens that scares one of them and that building starts on fire, I'm gonna riot. I had that fear just ticking in the back of my head. But yeah,
So, you know, Benedict would have made it out with those heels.
he would have carried him on his
He
back
would
with
have
those
just carried
heels.
the let's go. I says, saved your life. Give me that promotion. I ran in heels.
But yeah, he's like, you can't get your promotion unless you take accounting skills. Now I know how to get ahead.
Oh,
But
I thought that was
yeah, so the big plot reveal that they get this is that they find this letter that is lost before it gets sent back, and that it's in the major's handwriting. And like that even clicked before they looked at it. I'm like, they're showing the handwriting for a good reason. That's got to be the letter the major wrote for that. The letter the major wrote for that kid. And then they go to Violet before they go to his brother. I loved that.
That was a nice touch.
yeah.
No, wait.
Like
I'm wrong. They go to his brother first. I'm totally
he
wrong.
went to their brother.
I'm totally wrong.
And
They go
then
to the
they
brother
went to
first.
Violet.
Yes. They went with it to confirm with him if they thought that could be even humanly possible for that to be the handwriting before they went to Violet.
Yeah.
Because who would know better than like his own flesh and blood?
Yeah. So they went to
Exactly.
their brother to confirm like is this like the handwriting that it is, and then they went to Violet.
And then you're like, could it be possible? And like the brother never talks about going to go look for him, which is a great touch for later. He's like, if you guys want to look into it, it's whatever. He kind of stays neutral on the whole situation. And then they take it there, and Violet's just like, okay, when are we leaving? Just instantly.
Like,
You're saying you're saying like it's a maybe. She's like, are you okay with a maybe? She's like, I'm very, very okay with a maybe. Like, are you kidding me? But so then we get starting into the like half an hour chunk that literally murdered me. We get the small start at school with Hodgins going with Violet to go there, and you get Hodgins clearly learning that he would have trouble with no matter what gender of child that he would hope to have. That kid with the praying mantis is hilarious.
He's like, I got a bug. And I'm like, that is so fucking accurate. That is what children do.
It is.
Hashtag riddles and bugs.
Exactly.
Hashtag relatable.
Exactly. And yeah, so gets there and then he knocks on the door, and then like having him go there and having those kids go by and like third person tell Violet all the cool stuff he's been doing and that he's doing okay.
I love that.
I love that so much.
And like the praying mantis was missing an arm, just like the teacher. Like all that.
And I also love how Violet is clearly putting two and two together, but because of what Hodgins said, she's kind of like playing it cool.
Yeah,
She's
like,
very
tell me
reserved.
more about your teacher.
Yes, exactly. But okay, so I have to ask, because this is something I've seen some people have concedes with where they were kind of okay with it and kind of weren't. were you okay with the reasoning why the Major was staying distant from Violet? Might go first, I guess.
I have two thoughts. On the one hand, I understand from his perspective that like he has, I don't want to say he has survivor's guilt, but like he doesn't want to be like reminded of the past because he's clearly not proud of the fact that he took a child onto the battlefield. However, the fact that not once not once in the 4 years that he's been alive, like he ever even considered paying her a visit is like after 1 year, sure, I get that.
Yeah.
4 is a bit much.
Yeah. So
like I do understand like not seeing her because like the guilt, like you lost both your arms trying to save me. Probably, you know, you may or may not be dead. Type of things. It's just like kind of like being like like to see her being constantly reminded that like I done so much fucking hurt for you unintentionally. I can't do it. Like I understand that point. Like you kind of raised her the best you could, but still feel guilty of how you were raising her. Like that type of like parent thing. Like I'm not doing the best thing for my child.
Yeah.
But okay, you don't want Violet to know you're alive. You could at least tell the motherfucking brother.
Yeah, he didn't even. Yeah,
fucking tell a family member like, "Yo, I'm alive. I'm just."
Yeah, your whole family just thinks you died in the war. Like,
and we'll get back to that point in a second. But going back to the flashback, it's not excusing his decision. It's just explaining.
Yeah.
He never got to live his own life. So like staying on this island is kind of like 50% purgatory, but also 50%. Well, no, in that case it would be 100% purgatory.
Yeah.
Like he had a obviously he had a near death experience. Like he almost died in that fight. So
Very
I
near
feel
death.
like he woke up. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm alive. This could be my second chance to get the type of life that I long for. That like my brother ended up having per se."
Right.
Because I took over the life he didn't want.
Yeah, and it's the thing that I like. I get it, and it partially irritates me, which is how I believe they want you to feel. Is that like, yeah, I fully understand I'm going to remind her of bad times, the whole using, she's gonna like whatever, but it's like after 2 years, you're hearing that she's one of the most well-respected individuals like on that hemisphere at this point, and you're finding out that she's finally found her own 2 feet. Write a massive letter. This is my reason why I stayed away. List everything. Literally everything. I thought I'd remind you of blank and blank. I'm sorry if you feel this way. I apologize. But this is why I did this. I didn't want you to be anchored to me. I didn't want you to think I was your superior officer, do all this, and that, and the other thing.
They were on that island, and this is how they were talking. Like in the beginning, they were like hating that place. So I felt like because they were on an island, didn't like that place too well. They didn't want to hear anything that was going on.
Oh, I get that.
So that's why I kind of feel like they were somewhat isolated from like knowing what was going on. So that's when the person's like, "Oh yeah, this doll named Violet wrote this." That's why he just stood there like, "What?"
Well, either way, he said he's been writing letters for people to a degree, and it's whichever. He literally knows where she's staying if she's alive. He set up plans for her if he died.
Yeah.
So if he would have found like 2 years, like, I hope you're okay, whatever, I didn't come looking you for blank reasons, list it, and then be like, I am okay, I hope you're okay, maybe we can try talking. But understand, I didn't go looking for you for this reason.
Right.
After 2 years? And then it got to 4 and still nothing? And like, the part that sort of irritates me when we learn a little bit more about his brother, but again, it is okay because people feel emotions differently, where it's like, hey bro, remember how you didn't want me to live this life? I've now been not living it for 4 years. I got out.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not mad with how they did it. It's how people feel emotions. And the way that how this felt to me is they wanted you to feel that way. They want you to be irritated with how he's acting.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much that way.
Yeah.
And that's with, oh my gosh, no, his name's escaping me again. The president.
Hodgins.
Good Lord, his name keeps grabbing out of my head. When he's yelling at him, he's like, you are such a moron.
Okay.
And it just badgering him. And he wants to be like so bad. Like, he's like, I want to follow his orders and tell him it. And he's like, he's not here, not whatever. And she leaves. And then she goes to tell him where he is. And then I died. I literally
I know that
actually died.
like I love the fact that like after like Violet tried to like talk to the major like outside and like she ran away. I love how he was like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect delivery. That 2 seconds was so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
She screamed her lungs out. And again, no one animates water in any form in the studio.
Also, I thought it was kind of funny. They were like, maybe he's on the island for the reason. Let's respect like whatever name he's going by. Fucking screams out Gilbert on the top of his lungs. I'm like, yo, I like how no one came out and fucking heard this.
Yeah, no, my favorite thing is he's going by a different name now. What's his name? Mr. Gilbert.
No, it's
and then the
Gilbert,
kids say
Gilbert.
He says Gilbert, but the kids even say Gilbert because they don't know how to say Gilbert correctly. I'm like, you freaking idiot. But yeah, so you get that whole thing where you're like, okay, that's enough emotional damage for 10 minutes. Hearing Violet screaming out and then her gonna run all the way to, wherever until she can't run anymore. And then you get them back to the house where they're gonna stay.
God!
I'll take it from here because this was like full disclosure. We're recording this a week later for various reasons, but I kind of went ahead and watched this movie on my own because I knew, knowing the show, it was going to get heavy. And I'm so glad I did because the first time I saw this moment, this is the scene that killed me. So they get an SOS from Leiden that the kid Eurus is
in critical condition.
Yeah. So in response, the CH Postal Company, Benedict and Iris, rush to the hospital with the letters in their hands. They give them to Eurus to give to his family, and then there's still one more letter left, but he's down for the count. He's hanging on by a thread, and then the day is saved thanks to the telephone.
Yeah, like the one thing they were afraid of, like business-wise.
Yeah.
And that's when I lost it.
Yep.
Like, I would start losing it, like, just seeing him slowly, like, getting worse and worse, and just seeing how weak and frail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was...
Because, it's like, you literally watching a legit child fucking dying. That I was like, And then when he was able to talk to his friend to say what he needed to say, I was like, don't let this, like, he's gonna die out there. That's gonna be his last words, and then that's it.
Mhm.
Once I saw the mom like trying to like get him to move, I was sobbing.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
lost it, and I don't cry as like Ty does. I don't cry ever, but like that fucking knife twisted type of moment, I was just hysterical crying. That I needed to get up and get the fucking box of tissues because I was like, I probably don't need a box of tissues next to me.
From the moment where they say that he's in critical condition, and
Like
Violet's
you just
like,
knew. You just knew.
and Violet goes, I made a pinky promise to him. I need to go write that letter. And he's like, you're not going to make it. It's going to take 3 days to get there. And all you see is that, like, no noise, but like them in a car speeding with basically barely any headlights through the woods to get to this kid, knowing that we're not letting this happen.
Yeah.
And like, they couldn't even get the letter out, even.
Oh yeah. Even, like, something else I love about that scene is like they don't have a scene before it where in the office they're receiving the SOS. It just cuts right to them being like, we gotta go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like we don't mention it either that before he talks with his friend on the phone that he's spotted at random parts in the movie,
Yep.
like looking around and checking on him, even though he was told by Eurus that he doesn't want him there.
Yeah.
And
you know what shows why he's such a good friend? You don't listen to something like that. You go anyway.
No, you say your friend's an idiot, and I'm going to go see you.
Yeah.
And seeing how sickly that kid is, and again, I want to have kids someday. So watching this,
That's what I'm saying. Like, to see like an asshole child wreaking feral, like legit dying, killed me so much.
it did. And like thinking of Violet and Hodgins on the island, literally waiting for an SOS to be told how the situation's happening, is ridiculous.
Yeah, like
I need to ask you too. Have either of you seen Grave of the Fireflies?
Yes.
I have.
Because that was the last time I saw, at least in anime, a child in critical condition like that. And just that association is part of what played into me just losing it at that scene. But also just anytime I see children especially in that critical condition,
Yeah.
it's just heartbreaking.
Like,
It is. Go ahead.
like when they first met, I totally forgot. Like when he said that like I probably won't make it till winter. Like my body will be cold just like your hands.
Mhm.
He like promised me like you give these letters like them when I go to heaven.
The day I
Just
go to heaven.
hearing a child say that, I was crying a bit. I was like,
I was, and I've said this earlier in the interview. There's literally been 30 minutes of this movie when I was not slightly teary-eyed. I was legit bawling from the minute that Hodgins was bitching out Gilbert in the house to there. And
oh,
then,
I was like Hodges. I was like yelling at this man. I was like,
yeah. And then we get all that to happen, and then they're waiting on the SOS, and then they find out that the letters did get delivered, and then the parent started reading that letter
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Now I got.
and talking about like him just like your pancakes were delicious. If I would have ate more vegetables, it would have made you happier. and just going on and like just ending with I was glad that I was born your son. I was done. And then the part that fucking drove this, I had to pause the fucking video because I just couldn't, and I had to leave and walk out and go to my bathroom and literally shut the door because I was fucking bawling. They say we also have a letter for the little brother.
Yeah.
And
That got me. That
little-
killed me.
the little brother reads the letter. I was so happy, and he's like, I hope they spoil you. And he gets out of his mom's lap.
And
He
he
goes over and runs to his brother and starts like patting him and thanking him. Fucking God, I'm crying again.
I'm
Like-
even crying listening to that.
I know.
I was like, you can't do this.
Like,
that is not okay.
like when the little brother got up and went to the bed, I was like, if he talked as if he was sleeping or something, I was gonna lose it. Like, I didn't want like an FMA type of moment happen.
Yeah.
Like, why is he still sleeping? Like, why is he sleeping or something? Like, I was like, if that would have happened, I'd be like, I cannot record. I am done with this movie. I will not be able to go on because like that would have been like the
And then
tip of the iceberg
and
for
I
me.
look and I go to the pause button and I hit it. And then Netflix goes, fuck you, we've got 45 minutes left. And I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Literally, I was like, yo, how much longer do I have to suffer, Netflix?
You can't, I'm dead. I clinically, you pulled the cord, I'm done. And then they go through, and I get in, and I was still crying. I'm just like, I cleaned myself up a little. I hit the thing, and then they go through, and then I'm still crying, and it's like they get through because they have a little bit more of like that kid still pushing on his brother. And like you get through, and then they send the message back where it's like, the letters got delivered, everyone read it, it went well, please and thank you. And the best joke they've delivered in the whole series hit, and it saved the perfect levity snap out moment ever. Hodgins is like, we're going to see him tomorrow morning. I'm going to run up there. I'm going to kick that dumbass's door in, and I'm going to punch him in his face as hard as I can with all the gusto I have. It's like, no, you won't. If you're going to punch him so light, he's like, what? I was joking. I lost it laughing so hard.
I'll be like, yo, I want low-key wanted to say
best example of relief after a like dramatic moment.
Because it was like Violet never cracks jokes, but even in that moment, she's just like, I was kidding. I don't want to do that. Hodges is even like, you just told a joke? What?
Nani? Nani the fuck?
But yeah, and then she's just like, in a weird way, I heard his voice and that's enough. I don't know if that's dumb, but I'm good. She's like, you seriously want to go home? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. But she doesn't. She writes one last letter.
Like one last note to get like some type of closure type of thing.
And they walk past. Like she could literally, if she just looked down the hill, could have seen him.
Mm-hmm.
And like we kind of skimmed over that. Like there was random forward cut scenes throughout this to get Anne's granddaughter traveling.
Yeah,
we
like
kind of skipped that.
I feel like the whole movie was like trying to find out what like it was like someone telling like what happened to Violet.
Yeah,
and that's very in line
like,
with how the show is structured. There's always like there's always some sort of storytelling from someone's point of view, and I think that's a really cool element.
Yeah, so like she was just
film.
like going to place to find out like about Violet.
Yeah,
about, like the person who wrote like all these letters.
Yeah. And then they're just walking through, and he's like, hey, it's that old guy and that lady from the poster. Did you just call me old?
Bitch.
Every kid in this show is so perfect.
They're
so nailed.
Yes, like how they act and do is so accurate that I'm like,
Yes. Like they just show him working out and all this stuff, and then he hands it like, this is gonna help so much, and they just like, you please give this to your teacher, and then Violet's done. She just like closed off that chunk of her life. And then they go, and then we hear literally like it's just like Cal deliver it to him, and then like he gets a little pep talk. He's like, if you got a home to go there. It's just like,
That
nah, I'm
man.
good here. Yeah.
Like that man deserves a medal for
telling like exactly how it
like,
feels.
yo, I know you got a home.
It's like, dude,
Go.
I
don't want you as you have a home.
Exactly. And like he's just like, no, I want to stay and help people here. And then you literally hear Eye of the Tiger playing in the background as his brother approaches. And he's just like, we're gonna talk 4 years. I thought I was gonna come here and apologize to you, but no. Now I want to shove you in a bag and make you go back and deal with the shit that you caused.
Be like, yo, I've been dealing with this annoying ass girl that's been like head over heels for you, so I'm gonna drag you and you gonna deal with it because I'm done.
This was the let me see you grit your teeth moment.
I was so ready. I was like, if you comment at him, I'm gonna be so happy. I was so ready to have a grit your teeth moment, and he did it with words and not a fist, and it was so in line with the show.
Yep.
Oh, I was so ready. But he's just like, I get it. You got out. What is wrong with you?
Redemption. He got redemption.
He finally got it. That was the one check mark off that they did wrong in the thing because they just hadn't got to it, and they were just like, you know what? We need to get a little bit more of that in this movie. And it's like, part of me wants
like
to
when
see.
the series ended, I was like, maybe I was like, maybe he was gonna get the redemption in the movie. Okay, I said it before we watched the movie. Like maybe there's a chance, there is a slimmer of hope that this man's gonna get redemption, and he got redemption.
There are so many questions that I want to know with the events of how this happened, because all of us were like, they really shortchanged the brother.
Mm-hmm.
All of us were unanimously. And then part of me wants to know is if that's how it happens in the light novel, if all this stuff is accurate, or
this is tweaked just for the movie purpose.
They're like, everyone felt like the brother did not get enough. We're giving him that moment.
Yeah, that's why I really want the light novel to see like what type of like small changes if they made any,
or if any, or if it was just that massively written to begin with. Yeah. Which, you know what, I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm trying to see if I need like some hard evidence. Okay, no, on Wikipedia, it is said that the film was based on the light novel series, but that either means that this is just using the same characters and this is an original story, or
either way it could still be vague because
they very much still could have added a scene.
It could kind of be like, you know, they just
because the first film
or FMA thing where it's like it's based on it but not like doesn't 110% follow the light novel per se.
Yeah, because the first movie I know is based on the light novel because I mentioned the like certain adaptational differences.
Yeah.
But I can't say for sure if this movie is also from the source material.
Yeah. I've been trying to find like if you can buy the light novel from like a legitimate like site, but I couldn't find.
Yeah, light novels aren't like they're not like manga in that there's necessarily a Western audience.
Yeah. And like you could maybe find like there's some warriors out there that make scanlation sometimes or whatever. But anyway, so they have that moment, and then he gets that letter, and she's just like, I know you didn't want to hear this, and you think you could ruin my life, but you literally saved me. you taught me what I love you means. And she finally got to, if even in text, tell
Say
him
it.
in return,
Like,
I
say
love
it
you.
back.
I understand what it means, and I love you as well. And then we get the only, to my knowledge, like unlogical moment of the entire series. That mofo runs 900 miles an hour to that pier. They show that ship's probably a mile and a half off
At
that
least.
dock. At
Okay.
least. And then he screams from at least 2 miles away, and she hears it clear as a whistle.
Clear as a day. Okay, when she like ran and just jumped off the boat and just like swam back to the shore, I was like, okay, we're getting some inspiration from Tarzan, I guess.
I guess. But just like the perfect thing from Hodgins when he hears him scream, Gilbert, you
Fucking
idiot.
idiot.
You
You
idiot.
idiot.
Yeah, I finally got your shit straight. And
Like,
we're in
you
the-
know, when we're on the boat about to go home, you're finally gonna get your shit together.
And it's actually in his head. He's like, Violet's about to jump off the ship. Gilbert, you're a moron. You could have done this when we were on the dock.
You could have done this earlier. You could have done this
She-
before we got on the boat.
But then again, and then she runs, and they have this moment in the water that has more talent, animation, and budget
The
in
whole
it
budget
than
went to that
than
30-second
the
thing of water.
entire series of Elfenlied. More than the whole series was in that water.
Water. The budget was just purely in the water.
And here's the other thing. I know there was a lot of CG elements blended in with like 2D animation in the
Yeah.
series. Not once I complain about it. That's usually
It
something
was all in the water and nothing else.
like that's usually a real sticking point for me is when 2D and 3D elements don't like blend, but not once I have that complaint. And it could just be because I was just already hooked by the story, but still.
Yeah.
This and the rebuild films, no complaints. None.
Mhm.
They were used in spots where they were needed. I'm going to be honest with you. I barely even noticed that there's 3D effects until you just mentioned it. And I'm thinking about back on it.
Yeah,
there was a
not gonna
couple.
lie. I was like, yo, the water. Hello?
And then,
Even her arms are probably CG.
yeah, it's those things where it's like, I don't notice
Yeah.
it's drawn that well. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But now this is where I had some stuff thrown my way. And I'm going to be honest with you. We're probably going to have a good 10 to 20 about this. But so they have that moment where they basically confess love for each other in the water. And then they go back and they basically find out like Violet's just not coming back. She's staying with Gilbert. And then you have her wearing that like white-esque outfit and making the pinky promise at the end in the end credits scene there. This is the one discussion I was waiting to have with you guys because it's been a discourse on everywhere that I've seen. What is their relationship?
Married. Fight me.
Honestly, that is.
And
Fight me.
does that bother you if they are that he's basically raised her since she would be pretty much his daughter?
I'll say it's complicated.
Because she was 14. No.
In the beginning of the movie, in the beginning of the movie, they said when she turned 18, she quit being a doll.
And she was with her for a couple of years, and the war was done when she was 14. So he's known her since she was like 10.
Yeah.
And we never got any confirmation of how old he was.
Yes.
Hold on. Something else that's important to point out. In this world, in this timeline, by the time you're 10, you're old enough to
get married and have children, type of ordeal.
Yeah.
Or like get married off anyway.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why in the first movie, what's her name was like in that school to become a
Isabella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the term, but
it is. It's just the only thing that kind of gets weird with people is that he's been that close with her since she was that young.
Oh, so
And it was not introduced as a married off situation.
Oh, so the question is whether or not this is like
Like, what
like
is it?
an example of I don't want to say
You don't want to say the G word.
I didn't want to say it, but
what is
yes,
a
other
type?
word.
What is a type of like I love you relationship? Like type
Yes.
of ordeal?
Because there's many ways you can take this. I not on my life would ever even look at this as in the word grooming. In my life, I would not. And I don't think that there was any aspirations of that when the guy was writing this or in the situation. But I can take it as anyone who knows that term and what that means could see this as that possibly. Because if they are, he's known her since he was 10. That is weird. But anytime, like, when they were, the whole I love you thing always felt like I care for you more than any person in my entire life.
Like,
and I could tell you that, like, I have a non-blood little sister and a non-blood little brother, Adeline Traeger. I've known both of them since they were born, and I've told them that I love you since the day they were born.
You can say I love you platonically too.
Platonically, and that's one of the things where it's like, to everyone it lands in different situations.
Yeah.
It lands for different people. That's why I'm like, it's a murky ground, I want to say, for people and how they feel about how that last few seconds ends. Because it could be either, like you said, they got whatever, like with the age of setup. If she felt this way from the start, it's whatever. It could be that. Or it could just be, I didn't live a normal life. I didn't get to have kids. I have a strong connection with you as a person I care for, and I raised you. I love you as a daughter, or I love you as basically the person who was my soulmate.
Yeah.
It's one of those two. I honestly don't have a strong inkling either way.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like, for the little bit that I was cooling, went to the Reddit, and oh boy, was that a mistake.
Never go to the Reddit.
People are having, we'll call them.
Never go to the Reddit if you want to see what people are arguing about.
We'll call it, for the lighter terms, arguments about what their relationship is.
Like, I do see both standpoints.
Yeah, for better or for worse, they keep it they keep it intentionally vague because it's the point of the series is less specifically about that and more just about Violet coming into her own as like her own self, learning about life through the experiences of others. That being said, my mind keeps going back to the flashback where she finds the brooch for the first time, and how she describes it, and how she describes the color of his eyes. It sounds like there's more going on there.
Could be.
So I do genuinely understand where both sides are coming from.
And like,
I just feel like it's more like how you want to interpret it type of ordeal.
Exactly. Now, has anyone used the term emotional manipulation to describe their relationship? Because I don't necessarily think that's the case.
Not that I've seen, no.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
I don't think so
I don't
at
think it's
all.
emotional manipulation at all.
Yeah, they're
because like he never tried to like
very...
play with her emotions type of deal. Like he was more genuine about her emotions,
right?
And like wanted her to understand like her own emotions more than anything else. So I don't think it would be like that type of ordeal.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Then if people think like that's like quote unquote grooming, that like he's this age and like sees like 10 years younger. Have you not seen anime? I mean, that's low key nothing.
Okay, so if this is correct, there's a 15-year difference between Violet and Gilbert. He was supposedly 30 when he met her.
Okay.
Either way, that's not fun. I just literally never until now looked it up. No, most
I
of
mean,
them
it's
Disney
Japan also.
That is very true.
So
They
Yeah,
have different.
Japan's gonna Japan.
Japan is very weird about things. Again, we don't need to go back to Evangelion where they need to have panty shots of 13-year-old pilots consistently in Evangelion. But
I
anyway,
mean,
so
I can bring up a good example to like be like how Violet Evergarden, that type of thing is nothing. Like like I had the manga for Cross After Sakura, and like they're like in elementary school, and one of her friends were like madly in love with a guy, and you find out the guy is a fucking teacher. So I'm like, it's Japan.
that's right. That is, we always do have
It's
to keep in
Japan.
mind that it is
You
Japan.
sometimes you just don't question it.
Yeah. And so one other thing I forgot to mention that is very on point, where it's like, I don't want to think about Violet and I don't want to contact her, but in the garden of the school, I'm going to have violets growing. Don't think I didn't notice that.
Yes, that feels.
But also, did it was very weird to me. Like it was very poetic. I thought that we were gonna get more of it, but I kind of like how it ended with Anne's granddaughter getting to the island. And
Yes, and you see the stamp, and the stamp is violet.
And the stamp's violet. And like you actually get to see a person with an actual pen writing a letter.
That's
type of vibe.
I thought that was actually pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
You know, I'm assuming in the future, typewriters are kind of obsolete.
Yeah.
So the fact that she went through the trouble of handwriting a letter made it extra special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the coolest other scene that we didn't mention, that it's been the biggest non-sentient character in the whole show, when they're having the fireworks and then they do the long pause and you see where it's like they're going to light up that the Eiffel Tower is finally built with the fireworks, and then it blazes all the way up and you see that it's fully built and that big display. I'm like, how did you make a character out of
a building?
Out of a building.
Am I the only one who kind of like just immediately thought of the Disney logo, the modern Disney logo?
I did too.
just the way it was framed, the way the fireworks were coming from like the sides, and
I even heard that like the whole old school Disney jingle, everything. But yeah, it was good. This series literally corrected the one thing that they didn't like. I made a post on Facebook about it. This is a 12 out of 10.
It really is. It, like, I'm glad I went into this not knowing anything.
Yeah.
I usually won't even like waste my time recommending like animated content to my parents, but I think I'm seriously considering introducing them to the show.
If they don't like this a little bit, I don't want to talk to you.
My parents are weird, so I'm scared that like it'll just go in one ear out the other, but I'm hoping that just the power of the story gets to them.
Yeah,
it's they cover basically every emotion that a human could feel in one situation or another in technically 13 episodes,
and executed very well.
Oh, with surgical precision.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
And like, again, we did a kame before this. We were originally going to do this, and Mike requested this. This is great. I'm glad that we finally watched it. I need to watch something unbelievably stupid after this, because I'm not doing that. Not doing nothing like this again. Not for a little bit.
No, we need
I'll go ahead and tease it then. So for our next fresh takes, you want stupid? We got stupid. Cameron will be back.
Okay.
Because we kind of have to talk about Cromartie High School. We'll get more into the series when we get there, but I just want to give you the title so you know what to look forward to.
Yeah. And we've got other stuff on the horizon. Michelle will be back for stuff. There's one distinct one in the future that I want her here for. And yeah, we'll get to that when we do. And like there's one that's like we've talked about it many times, that's miles down the line. And if you can make out the character that's over my left shoulder, I just started buying the manga for something.
Oh.
If you can recognize the pinkish haired individual that is in the cover of the book right there.
Okay, but like that can be a lot of manga because it's pink.
My blood is black, you know.
Wait, what?
That's a quote from that character. I'll just give you that much.
we'll get there.
I'm just like the loading thing is not. It's on top of my head. I'm trying.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, for one last time, as far as Violet Evergarden is concerned, Mike.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. We're also on YouTube. You can find us on Podchaser and the Banana Meter. Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You need escape, so do we.
Absolutely. This how?
And you can find me on Twitter at Cubalove028.
And you can find me everywhere at Organoid0. And until next time, we will see you all later.